Assalamualaikum warahmatollahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Nadhiva and Salsyafalah, and now I'm gonna talking about toxic culture, patriarchy, and toxic masculinity. Check it out! So, this is our material to discussing today. There is definition of patriarchy and toxic masculinity. Second is characteristic of toxic masculinity and effect of toxic culture. And the last one is how we stop toxic culture. The first one is patriarchal. You must ever hear about this, right? So from Beshi, the patriarchal is an attempt to dominate men over women. Women are considered weak and have no right to become social figures. Women are led only to the housework. I often heard people in the past say that women don't need to study highly. Women's work is only to be in the kitchen, mattresses, and walls. This can happen because of the patriarchal culture that continues to be treated and held. Patriarchal culture itself does not exist for any reason, but is purely based on gender differences. So, yeah, there's no reason for this toxic culture. And next is toxic masculinity. Maybe you never hear about this, or maybe some of you know about this toxic masculinity. So, toxic masculinity has various meanings, but in short, it can be interpreted as deviation from the meaning of excessive masculinity. From the notion, some that a man will become very manly if he smokes, drinks alcohol, and commits violence. Toxic masculinity also makes men feel superior and selfish, reluctant to defend women's right or do work that is usually done by women. They tend to be brusque and display their power traits on others. Not infrequently, toxic masculinity makes men feel that they are doing things that are reckless and dangerous, make them look cool. It's so really weird. So, how we know if someone get the toxic culture? So the characteristic of this toxic culture is the first, someone will commit physical violence. Like I said before, they feel cool if they doing things that are reckless and dangerous. Next is limits expression. They cannot express what they feel. For example, when they feel sad or maybe he feel nervous, he more disposed to do something violence, or maybe they make a trouble because they can't understand what they feel. Next is they disparage women. Why? Because they feel that men should be superior of women, and if women make something like feminist movement, they feel like pressure. So it is not uncommon for us to hear about cases of sexual violence or sexual harassment against women, right? And also they feel superior and selfish, reluctant to defend women's rights, and also brusque and display their power traits on others. The point is they cannot respect what others people feels. And next, what the effect of this toxic culture? For men or women, this toxic culture make effect for them. The first one is the rise of cases of sexual violence against women that occur. Like I said, because the men feel like they feel superior than women, they feel like they can do sexual harassment to women. Even that on the scope of the family, I often see that women are not given the right to express their opinion, and the existence of double standards for women. Like I said before, women make a feminist movement, the movement to give equal right to women in their position in this world. But we forget that the existence of a culture of patriarchy and toxic masculinity that still exists. And yeah, this happened. Of course, for women, women have the right to lead. They can choose to be anyone and in any field. But on the one hand, women also have to meet their standards as a woman in the eyes of the world, such as having to serve gratefully, being able to do housework, and having to be beautiful. And in the end, patriarchal culture and toxic masculinity will still exist. And the gender equality will be difficult to realize if we only fixate on one issue. And the last one is unable to express himself. It can happen because they're not allowed to express what they feel. It starts when a child. I often heard parents say to her sons, he said like, boys can't be crazy babies, they have to be strong, or boys are robot toys or toys car, not cooking. In fact, in its growth, the beginning of the formation of toxic masculinity in children. So, how we stop this toxic culture? Of course, as a parent, you must not want your boys get this toxic culture right. So, we should let them choose what they want to be. Don't limit their hobbies as long as it's right. Let the children recognize and acknowledge what they are feeling. You can say it's okay to cry, it's okay to not always look strong, and it's okay to do what the women usually do. Teach your boys how to respect girls. Even at school, it is necessary to have activities that can develop knowledge about the identity of masculinity itself. For example, the program CARET, out by the organization Men Can't Stop Rape, which involves boys to be able to recognize and reject the culture of toxic masculinity becomes healthy masculinity culture. And another way we can do this is by teaching that every human body is valuable and needs to be cared for. Teach that we cannot touch or even injure someone's body. Tell the right and wrong behavior to do. We also need to get used to saying in a notation that doesn't demand woman, like, why do you like flowers like woman? Or why do you sew? That's a woman's job, because basically what women do is not something to be ashamed of. That way the child will grow into a real masculine man. And last, what the conclusion that we get from is above it. The patriarchal culture that encourages the existence of the current toxic masculinity culture must be stopped. The balance of gender rights must be upheld. Every human being is free to choose what they want to do, as long as it does not violate state and religious regulation. Humans are free to express and voice what they want to convey. And toxic masculinity occurs because of patriarchal culture that was first applied. The existence of a patriarchal culture supports the development of a culture of toxic masculinity. And I believe our current generation can become a better generation if equality of rights for both genders can be realized properly. Gender defects that have resulted from wrong understanding of masculinity need to be justified, so that masculinity can be interpreted in a more complex way and become a culture that is healthy and deserves to be continued. So yeah, that is my presentation and our discussion today. Thank you and see you in the next video. Bye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.